Welcome to our explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the ultimate ancient building adventure with Moses and the Israelites. Picture this. Thousands of years ago, a massive group of people is traveling through the hot, sandy desert. They don't have factories, they don't have giant hardware stores, and they literally have zero power tools. Yet, they get these instructions to build one of the most magnificent, sparkling, and detailed structures in history, the tabernacle, a special tent of meeting. So today, we're going to look closely at Exodus chapter 35 to uncover exactly how they pulled off this incredible feat. We're going to learn all about the awesome power of teamwork, the secret of resting, and how everyone's unique talents totally came together.
But hold on a second. I want you to think about something right now. Imagine you're camping out in a massive desert, and you're asked to help build a spectacular, glowing tent for God to dwell in. What special treasure or superpower would you bring to the camp? Would you bring your giant muscles to carry heavy wood? Maybe you'd bring some shiny jewelry. Or maybe you have a totally unique super skill, like tying really complicated knots or drawing beautiful designs. As we journey through this story, keep your own special superpower in mind, because you're going to see that it takes all sorts of different gifts to complete a giant quest like this.
All right, let's get into rule number 1, the golden rule of rest.
Okay, check this out. Before a single hammer is swung or a piece of cloth is sewn, Moses gathers the whole community together. Now, you'd probably expect the very first thing he says to be, "All right, everyone, grab your shovels and let's get to work." But actually, scratch that. He doesn't do that at all. Moses tells the people the absolute most important secret rule first. He reminds them that for 6 days, work is to be done. But the 7th day is to be a holy day, a Sabbath of complete rest. He even says they shouldn't kindle a fire in their homes on this day. God commands the Israelites to observe this Sabbath, which shows us a huge lesson right out of the gate. Our best work, our most creative ideas, and our truest service just don't come from frantic busyness. They actually come from a place of peaceful spiritual rest and taking time to depend on God. You absolutely have to recharge your batteries before you can build something amazing.
Moving right along to rule number 2, bringing the treasures.
So once everyone understands the importance of being rested and ready, it's finally time to gather the supplies. But Moses announces that this isn't just some normal collection. This isn't a mandatory tax where everyone is forced to pay a certain amount. No way. This is a call for a spectacular treasure hunt right inside their own tents. Moses reads off God's list, and they need some amazing treasures. They need gold, silver, and bronze. They need incredibly beautiful blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, fine linen, and goat's hair. They need tanned ram skins, fine leather, and super strong acacia wood. Plus, he asks for oil for the lamps, sweet-smelling spices for incense, and sparkling onyx stones for the priest's special garments. It's literally an enormous, incredibly colorful shopping list.
And you know what the absolute best part is? It's exactly how Moses asks for all these items. He says anyone whose heart makes him willing is to bring the offering. This is a brilliant secret about generosity. God didn't want people grumbling and complaining while they handed over their gold. He wanted them to give because they genuinely wanted to give. This makes their generosity a true, joyful act of worship. When we give our time, our toys, or our talents with a big, happy heart, that's for sure the most beautiful offering of all.
Which brings us to rule number 3. Teamwork makes it happen. Because, let's be real, building this massive tabernacle wasn't a job for just 1 or 2 leaders. It was a gigantic community quest where everyone had a part to play. The text says that after Moses spoke, the whole community withdrew to their tents, and then they came back. And oh boy, did they come back with a lot of stuff. Both men and women eagerly joined the mission. They perfectly followed the steps. First, they rested on the Sabbath. Second, they brought their treasures with willing hearts. And third, they started using their unique talents together. Nobody was left out. If you had materials, you brought them. If you had skills, you used them. It was literally the ultimate display of shared community effort.
The story actually tells us that men and women brought nose rings, earrings, and all kinds of gold jewelry. The skilled women immediately got right to work spinning beautiful blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and fine linen. Those whose hearts stirred them spun the goat's hair. Meanwhile, the leaders brought the precious onyx stones, the oil, and the fragrant spices. Everyone pitched in with exactly what they had, completely transforming a giant pile of individual treasures into the building blocks of a masterpiece.
And that leads perfectly into rule number 4, God-given super skills.
But wait a minute. Having a giant pile of gold, wood, and colorful yarn doesn't just magically poof into a beautiful tent, right? Someone actually has to know how to put it all together. To make these amazing treasures fit perfectly,
God gave special men incredible crafting superpowers. Moses tells the people that God specifically singled out a man named Bezalel. He filled him with the Spirit of God. This meant God gave him supernatural wisdom, understanding, and knowledge to be a master artisan. Bezalel became a total master of design in gold, silver, and bronze. He had the super skill to cut precious stones perfectly so they could be set in place, and he could carve wood into amazing shapes. His God-given talent was creating beautiful physical things for a much higher purpose.
Now, Bezalel was incredible, but he couldn't do all that detailed work entirely by himself. And here's the absolute coolest part. God also gave another guy, Aholiab, a totally different but equally important superpower, the ability to teach others. Aholiab had the incredible skill to weave, to be a designer, and to be an embroiderer, using all that beautiful blue, purple, and scarlet yarn. But his absolute greatest gift was taking those skills and teaching them to the rest of the team so the work could multiply. This just goes to show us that sharing what we know is just as important as doing the work ourselves.
All right, here we are at the final rule, lessons for you and me.
So, as we look back at this spectacular story from Exodus 35, what are the really big takeaways from this epic adventure? How does building a giant ancient tent in the sand actually apply to you today, whether you're at school, at home playing, or just helping out in your neighborhood? Well, we learned 4 massive lessons. First, generosity is worship. True service to God requires a willing, happy heart, not a grumpy one. Second, rest. Taking intentional time to rest and recharge is actually a command from God, not a weakness. Third, community. Monumental tasks take a shared community effort from absolutely everybody, men and women, young and old. And finally, talents. God gives us all unique super skills and abilities, not just for ourselves, but to use for a higher purpose, to help others and to bring joy to the world. So the very next time you have a big project to do, just remember this great desert tent quest. Remember to rest up, bring a happy heart, work together with your friends, and use your own awesome talents. Thanks so much for joining our explainer today. I'm really glad we got to dig into this amazing adventure together. Think about it for a second. What super skill will you use to help your community next? Click the bell button, like, share, and subscribe.